Today's show is proudly sponsored by Rio, the premium activewear brand that's dedicated to making you feel your very best and your most authentic self. Use code INTUNE10 for 10% off your order today. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Intune podcast, where we discuss the music that makes us mindful. Today's guest is such an amazing artist. I cannot wait for you to meet her. She has the most hauntingly beautiful voice that I've heard in a very long time, and she really has something to say with every lyric that she writes. She just released her new single, Doctor Doctor, that is unbelievable. I'm so excited for you guys to hear it. Definitely go check it out. It was released November 11th. So that's on all platforms now. And she actually just had a single out called Stars and Stripes that is just, honestly, I cried the first time I heard it. And I definitely want to talk a little bit about that as well. So that went absolutely viral on TikTok. Miss Julie Lavery.
I am forever changing. I don't mind rearranging. You've got to crawl before you walk. Routines I never bother, 'cause my mind can change by the hour, and I can live without a clock. Oh, don't you worry about me. Oh, 'cause I'm right where I should be. I'm doing just fine. Gonna paint my walls with my own design.
Julie, I'm so happy to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me on.
Oh my gosh, yes. I feel like it's a long time coming because,
Yes.
I mean, we met in LA
which is crazy to
waiting
think.
tables
Yes.
at Blue
Blue
Jam
Jam
Cafe.
Cafe.
Shout out Blue Jam Cafe.
Wow. It feels like ages ago, but at the same time, it feels like yesterday.
It really does. And then when I found out that you moved here, I was so excited. I was like, yes.
Yeah, I appreciated you meeting me for coffee because I
my
didn't
gosh,
know
of
anyone yet in the city, and it was really nice to be able to
Yeah.
see someone like a friendly face after just moving here. Not to mention we moved during the pandemic, which was like
Yeah.
the worst time to move, but whatever.
Honestly, I remember meeting you for coffee, and I remember feeling like manic because of everything that was going on.
Yeah.
And when I left there, I was like, oh my God, she thinks I'm crazy. She thinks I've turned absolutely bad.
Oh no, I think everyone turned crazy batshit
I was
during
like-
the pandemic.
I was
Yeah.
like, it's really hard here. I'm not well.
No one was
Welcome.
well. Yeah, I
Welcome
think
to
we're still trying to figure out how to be well again.
That's so true. Oh my
Yeah.
God. But yeah, thank you for coming here.
Of course. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. You have been doing so much since LA. And where should we start? I kind of want to start with the Stars and Stripes song that you just put out.
Yeah.
Because when I heard that, when I tell you, chills and tears, like
Thank you.
I was not looking to be moved in that moment whatsoever. Like I was just scrolling and I was like, Julie.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
So well written, incredibly powerful. Obviously, everyone else thinks so too.
Thank you. I really I didn't expect for that song to do as well as it did.
Yeah.
I had just gotten off the phone with my sister. She was feeling kind of down about where she was in life, feeling, like she was behind where she's supposed to be, as I think most of us do now, because the timelines that our generation is working with are much different from the timelines that our parents were working with. Yeah. So it's easy to feel like you've somehow messed up if you don't have A, B, and C. And, it made me kind of angry and sad because I hated hearing that she was feeling that way. I feel that way too, but it just,
Yeah.
when it's your little sister, you feel protective
Extra,
and
yeah.
extra. Yeah. So, I just kind of sat down and I wrote the first verse and chorus of Stars and Stripes. And, I went and I recorded a little snippet of it on my phone and I uploaded it to TikTok, and, not thinking anything would come of it. And all of a sudden I kept getting all these like ding, ding, dings, like messages and stuff. And I was like, what the hell is happening? And people were like, oh my gosh, I love it. Like, can't wait to hear the rest of it. And I hadn't written the rest of it. So I was like, oh my God. And I was like, is this happening? Am I going viral? And then I was like, this can't be happening. I haven't finished the song. So the next day I literally sat down and I finished it. And I recorded that version that ended up like actually going viral, where I'm sitting on the bed. And I was so nervous that version wouldn't do as well as the other one had, which I think it had like maybe like 70 or 80,000 views on it. And I was like, that's amazing. That's so great. And I was like, I really hope people still care when I upload the full version. Because a lot of times you can miss your moment on TikTok. It goes by so fast.
So fast.
Yeah. But luckily it worked out. Like it got like 2.8 million views.
Yeah.
And,
congratulations. I'm literally, that is well deserved.
Thank you.
And like, you've been working hard for a very long time. And I think that a lot of times when I see something pop off like that with somebody who's been working so hard for so long, I think it's almost like that moment was supposed to be theirs. You know, like it was supposed to be for that specific song.
And I'm really, really happy that it was that song, because that's, for me, you know, I've always been really like such a fan of like music of the 60s and 70s. And, you know, we make music and we create art for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
And there's no wrong reason to create art. Like, I think, you know, if someone makes music just to feel happy and to make other people happy, that's amazing.
Yeah.
If you make sad girl music, that's amazing. Like, we need all of it. I've always really wanted to make music that sort of captured history in the moment that we're living in. And I don't, you know, you don't hear that stuff on popular radio or anything like that. And sometimes I think like if someone were just to listen to the radio hits of today, they would have no idea like what was actually going on in the world.
That's
like,
very true.
It's really like everything seems okay if you listen to the radio, but we've gone through this incredibly like traumatic time, and this country's kind of like upside down at the moment. It seems like everything's sort of like falling apart in a lot of ways. And anyway, so
and we're like, let's dance to this little TikTok dance over here.
Which, you know what, sometimes you need that.
You
because
do,
you're
absolutely.
like, I can't, my heart is so heavy. I just want to like feel good for a little bit. And like, I am not putting that music down at all.
No, we need that like more than ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we also need what you did. And
thank you. And that's just what I want to do with my music. I want to be able to like, to have that little, like this is a little piece of history. Like this is where we were at in history. And so anyway, I was really happy that it was that song.
Yeah.
That got people's attention.
Yeah. And I think you're right on track with that. The lyrics are incredibly powerful. I think they only get more powerful as the song goes on, which is pretty crazy. And I've showed a few people and I sent it and I was like, please listen to the end. Like, I encourage people to always listen to the end of that song.
Oh, thank you.
Because when I first heard the first lyrics of it, I was like, I feel this. Everyone feels this that I know. And then we got to the second verse and I was like, hold up. Like, and then I was just like towards the end, and there's just so many aspects that you hit about what's going on right now in our lives and in our culture that people are making normal, and calling to the front that it's really not. And it really just shocked me into this, like, whew, pay attention, which I think people needed to see. So
thank you.
Yeah, I think that's very special. So thank you for writing that for a lot of people. Truly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It means a lot.
You also write, I really have loved your songs about like women and
thank you.
Pulling that to the forefront. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? I know you're really passionate about that.
You are going to love my next single.
I'm so excited.
And honestly, I think it should be my last like feminist anthem, because at this point I'm like writing too many of them.
You're just like, I am a feminist, can you tell?
I know, which is like, I totally like, but it is something that's important to me. I feel like, how is it that in the year 2023, we are still fighting for basic like human rights, the ability to choose what to do with our own body? Like, how is it possible?
I really, that one did shock me. I'm not going to be on it. Like, or I mean, I'm not going to be honest. I'm not going to lie. That one, I was not like, I did not see that coming in our history after like where we had been and how far we've come. I just, in my mind, didn't even think that was really something that was even on the table. So when that happened, I was like,
Yeah. No, 100%.
Yeah.
And like, you and I lived in California for a long time, and
we were in a bubble.
we were in a bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah. We lived in Los Angeles. We got very used to, and also I grew up in Massachusetts, and you were in Pennsylvania,
Yep.
right? So like up north, we're a little bit more, liberal, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
But moving to Tennessee was a bit of a shock in that sense. I love this state for so many reasons, but
Yeah.
also there's certain things I'm like, come on, we need to catch up.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
we're moving backwards. So anyway, yeah, I have written a lot about that. A lot of my writing is just getting my own frustrations out, and actually with what is even the name of my song? Tired War.
I was like, I remember it.
I was like, what is it? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, when I wrote Tired War, it was like it was my own frustrations. And once again, I like put a piece on TikTok, and people were like, oh, I really resonate with this. And I was like, oh, well, let me just upload it to Spotify, because why not?
Exactly.
So anyway, but yes, I have a single coming out, I believe in January. Yes. I don't want to even say too much about it, because I'm really hoping that I can like push this one more than I've pushed any of my other singles before.
I'm sure that more and more people are listening to you every day. So
yeah,
it's time to like, these are the moments when you get to say what you need to say. So
yeah,
don't hold back on your feminist anthem.
Yeah, I won't. It's going to be in everyone's face. People are like, oh, here we go again. Here we go again.
People really need a safe space to feel those feelings and those emotions. And
I think so
it's
too.
just, you put it very well. So I think that keep putting that stuff out. It's
Thank you.
making a difference, and giving people something to sing along to.
Thank you.
Yeah. So cool.
That.
I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. I just wanted to touch a little bit on that so people could kind of get to know you a little bit.
Yes.
I know also you just had a very fun, exciting experience singing background vocals for Dolly Parton. Okay, are you kidding?
I was totally like, when I got the phone call, or I'll start from the beginning. I played a round, like a house round at someone's place in Franklin, and when I was there, I had played a song that I had written, and I prefaced by saying, I wrote this for Dolly Parton, and I really hope one day she records it. Anyway, little did I know, someone in the room knew a producer who had been working with her, and they were like, hey, like, I might have a connection to Dolly. Can I get your info? Maybe one day I really can get the song to her. And I was like,
oh my gosh.
Wow, wouldn't that be amazing? So anyway, an entire year went by, and I hadn't heard from this guy. And then one day I get a call, and he's like, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but like, I'm the guy who got your number last year. And he's like, I've been keeping you in mind. I hope you don't think I forgot about you. And he's like, so I haven't gotten your song to Dolly, but she needs background vocalist for her new album, Rockstar. And I was like, wait, what? So anyway, I was like, yes, say no more.
Honestly,
I'm in 100%. He's like, okay. He's like, cool. But you do have to audition. So like, I'm going to send you this address. Like, you just need to prove that you can sing BG beats, pick up harmonies quickly.
Yeah.
I was like, sure, no problem. Like,
anything for Dolly.
Anything for Dolly. Yes, absolutely. So I went, I auditioned. The producer was like, yeah, I know you sound great. You're great at harmonies. Like, just know that tomorrow, like, you could be singing up to 9 songs. You need to be really quick, all this stuff. So I was a little nervous. I was like, geez, I hope I'm good enough, like quick enough with all these professionals to pick it up,
Isn't it funny that we think of ourselves as like still sometimes like not professionals?
Oh,
when
totally.
We have put in far more hours than professionals.
Oh, my imposter syndrome is through the roof.
It's unreal.
It is. I think that's absolutely every artist, but like, 100%. I was like, I'm not worthy of this. So anyway, but I get there, and turns out they're like, so we're actually only doing one song today. And I was like, okay, no problem. Like, whew. And then I find out that it's going to be We Will Rock You.
I love it.
Which, as everyone knows, like, those BGVs are mostly
they're
like,
vibes.
They're
vibes over notes.
There was a little bit of harmonies going on,
Yeah.
but I was like, wow, I really panicked for nothing.
Yeah.
But I can say that my voice is on Dolly Parton's record, and it was the most wonderful experience. I met some really great people, and yeah, anyway, it was
so
a great time.
cool.
And then I got to go to the album release party and actually meet her,
Yes.
so that was so cool.
That's so exciting.
Yeah,
that
it
is
was
so
awesome.
so cool. I'm just
It was great.
oh my gosh. Well, one of my friends works with her, so I will pass that song to her
Oh,
and see
thank
if that
you.
one
Yes.
makes it her way.
I know.
Not that
Everyone-
I could even do anything, but maybe you never
Everyone
know.
can just whisper in her ear. I know.
But that's why truly, like, just because of that event specifically, I feel like you always have to say something.
yes,
I'm always the person that didn't when I should have.
totally.
And it's happened enough times where now I'm just always encouraging people to, like, be the person that says, I don't really care if this makes this awkward or weird or whatever. Like, I'm gonna shoot my shot.
Yeah,
And see
you
what
have-
happens.
You have to advocate for yourself.
And then you literally end up in Dolly Parton's
yes, I know.
Speedy
It's
release
like
party and on her
such
album.
a small world. And, you know, I kind of said this before when we were talking before the interview, but
Yeah.
when I was in LA, because I was just working, you know, waiting tables to pay for rent and bills, and we
Yeah.
were a lot younger, and we were just kind of like having fun. And I
Yeah.
didn't go for music 100% the way I should have.
Yeah.
And when I moved here, I like promised myself that I would network as much as I could, meet as many people as I could, like just put myself out there.
Yeah.
And I've tried to really stay true to that this time around, because you know, it's like awful to say, but like sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, did I just like waste all that time? And I like to think of it
Yeah.
more as like it was a period where I learned a lot and
Yeah.
I grew.
I
And
think if you probably didn't have that time, like, that's how at least I feel. Like, if I didn't
Yeah.
have that time in LA, I wouldn't have, you know, been as confident and strong as I am here.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And LA is so different from here.
It is so incredibly
gosh.
different. It's I don't even really know how to describe the difference, to be honest, because there's so many.
The whole, I feel like within the industry, it's like when I moved here, people told me like, oh, everyone's gonna be so friendly, this and that. And I was like, okay, sure. But the music
Yeah.
business is the music business,
Yeah.
you know? Not true. People were incredibly nice. Like I
Yeah.
was getting invited to rights, and people were like, oh, you're
Yeah.
a singer, I'll hook you up with so and so. Like
Yeah.
it was really nice. And I never experienced that in LA, because it was very tit for tat.
Oh yeah, and it was also very like I remember when I moved there at first I had already toured. I had already done like all these big things, and when I moved there, somebody said, "Oh, what do you do while I was waitressing?" And I was like, "Oh, I write and sing music." And they were like, "Good luck." And I was like, "Woof."
I know. It was
I was
like,
like,
that.
but it was crazy because it was so cutthroat, but it was also like everybody already assumed you didn't do anything based on your current circumstance.
Right. Oh, 100%.
And people
Yeah.
here don't do that. People here, you could be bartending, you could be doing anything, and they're like, "What do you do? Because I'm gonna help you," or "What do you do? Because like, you know, like I'm just genuinely interested," and things like that. So I always thought that was very interesting. Also, I feel like, you know, you can walk up to people and chat with them more here, like whether they're famous or not, and it's not like taboo, because in LA, I mean, you and I both know, like, the people that would roll through Blue Jam, like,
Yeah.
we would literally casually be standing there and turn around and it would be like Adam Levine.
Yeah.
And he would be there like once every other week. And like
yeah.
we would just be like casually waiting on him like he was a normal person.
Right. Yes.
Because you don't talk to them like that.
Did I ever, I don't know if I told you this story or if you were working on the day that this happened, but.
Did you go say hi to him, right?
Well, I did. So yes. Oh, so there's kind of two things. Cause he was, I mean, I worked there for 5 years.
Right.
And I waited on him all 5
Right.
years
So he knew
on and off.
so many of
Oh
our
yeah,
faces.
like he knew us. So
Yeah.
I remember one day I was waiting on him, and he's like, "I've been meaning to tell you." He's like, "You remind me so much of someone I know." And I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Is it a Victoria's Secret model?" I was like, "This is so exciting."
This is so crazy.
Yeah, and he's like, this girl I used to go to school with, she was so sad all the time. And I was like, oh. How do you even respond to that?
Wonderful, thank you.
Yeah, I was like,
okay, thanks.
Yeah, I don't love waiting tables, so it could be that.
Yeah.
It could be the
This is slowly crushing my
internal
soul,
sadness
sir.
that you're feeling. Yes. I was like, thanks a lot.
That place held so many funny memories because of that. Like,
yeah.
I remember who was the guy that was dating. I was told all the time, like, I still am, like, especially when I have dark hair, that I look like Demi Lovato.
Oh, yeah. You do.
I don't see it, but people say it a lot. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. And I have had little kids run up to me and be like, Demi, when I have glasses on, I'm like, this is bizarre. And I've had so many connections, like, you know, it's like the Kevin Bacon thing, but like to Demi Lovato.
Oh, yeah.
And so one of them, though, was when I was waiting tables there and she was dating that guy from, what was it, that show, that 70s show or something?
Oh,
I don't remember what his name is. Will.
Oh, yeah, Will. It was Will something.
Willem. Do you remember what his name is? He's going to look it up so I don't mess it up, so I don't butcher it.
Yeah.
But I will continue telling the story. So I turned around, like, about to serve a table, and it's him, and he looks up and double takes, like, and I had dark hair at the time, so like he double took, and I think he thought
that you were Demi
for just like the tiniest split second, and I was like, okay, well, if that just happened, then
you're like, then maybe I do.
Maybe it is, like, and her vocal,
you do a little bit, yeah.
I think it's like the laugh maybe or something.
I think your face is a little similar too. Yeah.
Well,
yeah. I mean,
okay,
that's a
great,
compliment.
thank you.
Yeah,
I love
she's
it.
gorgeous.
Stunning.
No, that's awesome.
But yeah, it was funny. And her like vocal coach when I was really young, when she was really young, vocal coached me for tour.
Oh, cool.
And she had it's Will Valderrama.
Oh.
All right, that's the name.
Cool.
All right, thank you, Antonio. Shout out. Yeah, so like literally I was in there and she texted her and was like, I found like your older doppelganger. It was like,
Oh my
great.
gosh. You're like older.
Great.
Leave that part out, please. Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm like, one day I'm going to meet her and be like, hey, did you get all these weird texts about this girl running around like Dallas and LA that like kind of looks like you? It's me.
Oh my God. That's awesome.
I totally think my sister looks more like her than I do though, for sure. But you know, that's interesting. But yeah, that place held a lot of bizarre moments for me, at least.
Absolutely.
Did you ever give, I feel like one day you were like, I remember we were back like by the coffee station and you were like, I'm going to just do it. I'm going to just give him my whole CD. Did you ever do that?
It was the single that Spencer and I did with the running mates. Yes, I did. And you know what sucks? Because I had known, that was like right before I was about to like leave Blue Jam. I think I had known Adam for at least 3 or 4 years at that point. So I felt comfortable doing it. It wasn't like I saw him for one day and then it's like, I've been waiting on you for years.
Yeah, for years.
But apparently some customer had just run up and given him a CD and I didn't know that.
Oh no.
So I did it right after. And I was like, hey, Adam, like, I was just like, if you could check this out, like, it would mean the world to me. Like, I'm a songwriter. My husband and I have a band. And he was like, cool. He just sort of gave me like the, cool. But like, I know he never listened to it. And after that, like, I swear to God, he like wouldn't look me in the eyes anymore. No. So it got a little
just bad
awkward.
timing.
Totally bad timing. And, you know, whatever. I'm sure that it's probably something where like they can't even listen because like, God forbid something comes out that sounds similar. They don't want to get sued.
That's
know, like,
probably true. Honestly.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it like that.
Someone told me that one time with songwriting stuff. They're like, don't ever send unsolicited things because if they do hear it and they do take it, I mean, it's like, yeah.
It's very interesting though, because I know I don't know. I've been watching other podcasts obviously all the time. There's one here called 10-Year Town that I really like. And I think they do such a good job, but they had somebody come on and talk about how they had just like sent something to a really big artist. I don't want to get the names wrong or anything, so I'm just going to like preface it, but they had like sent something to a really big artist through their email that they just like happened to get. And then they ended up taking it and crediting everybody. And I was like, sometimes that works then.
Wow.
Like, I don't suggest it. They even said on there, I don't suggest it, but it did work one time.
That's great.
At least.
Good for them. That's great.
Like I said, shoot your shot.
I totally.
Because you would have thought your whole life, I think, if you didn't give him that, like, what if I would have?
I think so too. Yeah. I'm still happy that I did it, but
yeah,
it definitely didn't work out.
It's fine.
Yeah, no,
still
it is.
Still a thing.
Yeah.
Well, okay, but you have had so many good things work out. So you toured in Europe.
Yes.
With were you guys as the Daisies at that time?
So we were not.
You were just
I was
together?
supporting Sarah. So Sarah Darling.
Darling.
So she's an amazing artist. She has like the prettiest voice I've ever heard.
It is beautiful.
She sounds like an angel. Like I love her so much. So I was playing guitar and singing background vocals for Sarah, and we opened for Carly Pierce.
So cool.
Which was awesome.
So cool.
Such a great experience. So fun to be in Europe. It was definitely one of the highlights of my life. I would probably say, like, it was so great. And right before that, Sarah and I had done a national tour. We did the West Coast, East Coast, and Texas. So cool. and
Texas.
Texas,
which is its own country.
Exactly. Yeah. So we had a really good time too. But that tour was just her and I. We drove the entire thing. The only flying we did was from Tennessee to Portland.
Oh my gosh.
Seattle. And then all the rest was just driving, which is a lot.
That's so cool.
It's
though.
exhausting.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot.
But
that would be incredibly difficult to do that and then get out of the car and be the one still.
Yes, to lug everything.
And that's people do not think about that, and it's incredibly exhausting.
It is exhausting, and it's mostly driving too. I was kind of thinking of tour as like just this like excuse to travel and then also get to sing at the end of the night. But it is truly from one hotel to the next. Yeah, people are like,
lots of subways.
Lots
of
the state.
McDonald's.
Yeah, you know what? Sarah and I were really good. We didn't do any fast food really.
That's so good.
We did a lot of like just snacking in the car on
I wish I would have done that.
Yeah.
When I was touring and I was like on a bus with like a bunch of dudes and they were like stopping at all of the worst stops. And I remember calling the tour manager at the time and being like, I swear if we stop at one more subway, I am going to have a mental breakdown. And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I'm gaining so much weight.
It's a real thing.
And it makes you upset. And then people don't
does.
realize like tour is like lots of pressure, but so much fun still. So cool to do.
It was. I was really happy I did it. Actually, kind of like funny story, slightly more personal, but also maybe a good segue into my latest single.
Yes.
But on the first leg of the tour with Sarah and I wasn't on any sort of anxiety medication or anything, and like I was actually having pretty bad like panic attacks the whole time. I know, and it's like it was totally something that I had been working through, prior to going on tour, and I almost said no to the tour because I was like, I'm really dealing with a lot of bad anxiety. And then I was like, this is like truly a once in a lifetime thing. And I don't want to not do it because of my anxiety. Mm-hmm. So I went anyway and like sort of pushed through it, but I didn't have like the right coping mechanisms. And even, I don't know, I actually like truly think that I am one of those people who did need medication in order to put my coping mechanisms to use. Yeah. Because I was trying. Like I had done therapy prior to the tour and all that. And like I was kind of figuring out how to work through it. And I didn't realize that I had anxiety because I've always been socially very able, like totally. I love talking to people. And that was never like where my anxiety lied, but it was other things. It was like, it was weird. Like I would get caught up like thinking about my breath, and then I would be like, oh, I don't think I can breathe. And then I'd start like, having sort of like a panic attack because I'd be like, oh my gosh, I don't think I can breathe right. And then, that's all you get stuck. You just get stuck on it. And that was the thing. I would just keep getting stuck in these loops. And when you're driving for such a long time too,
you're kind of daisy.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And then I would just get get stuck in those like really scary loops. And when I got back from the first leg of tour, which was like 3 weeks, I think, I remember saying to Spencer, like, if I don't get medication, like I can't do it. Like, and I never wanted to be on medication. My family had always been very anti all medications, anti therapy, anti, you know, anything like that. You know, it just was a suck it up kind of mentality that I grew up with. So, so I didn't realize I was an anxious person. Well, to find out, very anxious. Yeah, so I did end up going to the doctor, and it was oddly too easy to get pills. I feel like I was like, I'm very anxious. They were like, what do you want? Here
are your options.
Oh, God. But I was very thankful for it because it did help. Like, it actually helped. The first couple of weeks were a little rough, but I was like, oh my gosh, I actually had I've had severe stomach issues since elementary school.
Oh my goodness.
Like literally elementary school. And I always thought that I had just like a bad stomach. Yeah. Well, turns out it was anxiety this whole time since I was a little baby.
Girl, you did not. I will have to give it to you though, because like we worked a lot together and you are not a complainer. Like,
thank you.
I would never have known.
Thank you.
Ever.
Well, you know what? You aren't either. Cause I remember you saying that you were like dying from like cramps one day.
Yeah.
And I have like severe cramps.
Some of the most severe cramps ever.
And you were working.
Yeah. I remember there have been times where like I've been working like even at Jason's, like to this day, like when I was doing that like last year or when I was at Blue Jam, and like all of the jobs that I've ever had that were service industry, like you can't really tell them that because they're like, okay, another one's telling you this, but like I like have been hospitalized many times from it.
Well, I remember you throwing up in the bathroom and I was like, are you sick? And you were like, no, it's my cramps. And I was like, holy shit. And you were still working. I was like, damn.
Yeah, you just suck it up and keep going. I gotta pay my bills.
Yeah, I mean, for real. And it sucks because it can be like literally that serious as to where you're hospitalized. And
it's crazy. And I don't think people really like their doctors. I just don't think know enough about female health in general.
They don't.
It's something that eventually I would really like to dive deeper into because it's just something that I've suffered with for a really long time. But yeah, it's like you go in and they don't have anything to tell you, or they'll be like, I think you might have endometriosis. And I'm like, cool, what do I do? And they're like, surgery. And I'm like, how do I find out if I have it? And they're like, surgery. And I'm like, okay, well.
Oh, what? You know what? That's so funny that you mentioned that. And honestly, probably what started to fuel my like feminist songwriting, but I had a fibroadenoma in one of my breasts, which is a cyst, but it's non-cancerous. Yeah. And it was extremely painful. Like I would wake up in the middle of the night crying because like these sharp shooting pains. And I remember telling my sisters about it and just crying and being like, I don't know what to do about this. Like I can't keep living like this. Yeah. And I saw 2 male doctors. The first one told me that I couldn't get it removed because it would deform my beautiful breasts. And
stop.
No, I'm very serious. And
sir,
and that I wouldn't be able to breastfeed. And I was like, oh my gosh. The second doctor told me that I didn't need to get it removed because it wasn't cancerous and because they don't hurt. And I was like, well, this one does. And he's like, no, he's like, these are usually non-painful cysts. And I was like, well, I'm telling you it hurts, like really bad. Wrong. And he's like, okay. He's like, well, you might want to get checked for ovarian cancer. And then he left. That's not a joke. I went downstairs and cried. My husband was waiting in the lobby and I was just bawling my eyes out. I was like, I don't know if I should make an appointment to check if I have cancer. I was like, I don't know what to do. Finally, I saw a female surgeon and she's like, I take like 10 of these out a week. She's like, it'll barely leave a scar. She's like, you're going to be fine. Like, let's schedule it.
Eesh.
And that was it. That was it. I got it out and I was fine. And I was like, wow. I think
a lot of times people are like, I'm in pain. And they're like, no, you're not. And
you're
like,
no, you're not.
Are you gaslighting me? Like, what is happening? Like,
yes,
I am.
Ridiculous.
Like, and I swear women are not lying when they're telling you they're in pain because we usually hold the pain down quite a bit.
Yeah. And like you were saying too, it's like there's just not enough research. Like when I was researching fibroadenoma, there was almost nothing on it at all, like
Yeah.
truly. And then I would go to like Reddit forums and I would find all these women who were just as lost as I was. Everyone's trying to ask, what do we do? What do we do? And like no one has answers because there just isn't information on it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's all too true for women's health in general.
It's incredible. I truly, I get so annoyed, and then like I work myself up, and then I have to like calm myself down a lot. And it's just something that definitely needs to be, like, people are fighting for it, and I'm just like, okay, so like who's listening and where are we going with this? Because it's just, we've been doing this for too long for this to be still like something that we're talking about. It's wild, but but that's again why I think so many people are appreciating the music that you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, because it's like not afraid to talk about this stuff, and like, you know, even coming on here, I always tell people, like, some people would be like, oh, do you want me to like talk about like this or that? Like, no, like it's an open book. Like, let's talk about like the cramps and the things that need to be talked about, because that's what people need to hear, that they're not alone. And like, you do that in your music and outside of your music, you're very consistent.
Thank you.
And I think that's really awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely not setting out to be like a political like person. Like I don't want to just be known as like, oh, someone who's political, but I do want to be known as someone who's like you're saying, like not afraid to just talk about it. Yeah. I think a lot of times with music, it's hard because you don't want to alienate fans. Right. Like that's like, everyone's always like, oh, be careful because you're going to alienate an entire fan base. Yeah. And it's like, well, not everyone's going to like you, and that's just life.
That's okay. Yeah. You might as well have the people supporting you that you really, you know, believe in the same things. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, I believe in it. So I'm not saying anything that's untrue to myself. Yeah. And like, that's okay. So.
It's funny though, because I also feel like, especially in women artists, I know when I was growing up, I got told, don't ever speak your opinion because you will alienate yourself, basically, like you're saying. But I didn't see that happening as much to the guys, which was really frustrating for me as like a young female, being told like my opinion doesn't matter. And I would be like, what are we talking about here? And I repressed myself from speaking. And I thought that my opinions didn't matter for a really long time. And it really actually did take me going to LA and then coming here and like really having jobs that were maybe not the easiest, and having to speak up for yourself and really validate yourself and be there for yourself and have moments alone and time to really think about what makes sense. And at this point in life, I'm like, why wouldn't you say something like, yeah, it's scary, but it's almost scarier to not.
Totally. Yeah, that's what I think too. I think it's probably scarier to not at this point. And yeah, I can't imagine how much, you know, you probably had to stand up for yourself bartending on Broadway.
My goodness, that was rough. I think I turned into a completely different person. You can ask Antonio. He was like, after a year of me not bartending anymore, he was like, you seem calm. And I was like, I've always been calm. I just worked a really bad service industry. Well,
you probably have to be
job.
on the defense quite a bit.
You do. And it's not always just like it's on the defense from everyone and everything. Like it could be like, because it's such a high stress environment, it doesn't matter what's going on. It's like the person working next to you is having a bad day, and like maybe your manager's having a bad day, and then maybe the person that you're giving the drink to is having a bad day. Nobody's understanding each other. Maybe you're having a bad day. Maybe I have really bad cramps. Like, you know what I mean? You don't know what I'm going through, but you just have to suck it up and be like, you know what? Back it off. Like, don't mess with me. Like, we were going through COVID and we were still working. People were coughing on us. Like, I had it twice. Like, there was just no escaping it. It was just like, there was a lot going on. And then somebody would be like, why don't you have this food item that you usually have? And I'd be like, because you're lucky we're open.
I know. You know? You're like, the world is shut down except for Broadway.
Except for Broadway. So please, please, sir.
Yeah, give me a break.
Yeah. So it changes you being in and you change with your environments for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's why it was important for me to get out of that and to do something that was more aligned with what I felt like I was doing and who I am as a person. That's
so awesome.
Because it was not that.
Yeah, no.
It doesn't mean you're not good at it. It just means that you're, and a part of my ego is like, if I don't do this, then I'm, you know, maybe I couldn't hack it, and that's not true.
I'm the same way though. And like, that's another reason why I had to leave waitressing. Cause I did it for the first couple of years I was in Nashville, but I give 110% to everything. Like, even if I don't like it, because I don't know if you or anyone listening is into Enneagrams, but I'm a 3-wing 4, and that's like the achiever, I think, like the professional achiever or whatever. So I definitely, you know, I strive for greatness and like everything, even if it literally is waiting tables.
Even if it's killing me.
Yes. And I was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore because I'm not good. I can't go into work and half-ass it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm putting way too much effort into something that I do not want to do.
That is so accurate. I feel like I am exactly the same in that. And it's exhausting because people will be like, well, why can't you just go to your like quick day job and just like call it and be like, okay, I'm leaving this there. Well, because I need to make sure I'm doing my best, like, and not letting anyone down. I know that's like major people pleaser vibes, but like,
you know what? Me too, though.
Yeah.
I think that's obviously it's probably something that stems from our childhood. I'm sure, like the whole people pleaser thing, but I've always sort of been that way. I don't want to upset anyone. And I think it's kind of funny that my music has gone the way it's gone.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of a sign to me that I've like become more comfortable in who I am and don't care about what other people think as much. It's not that I don't care at all.
Yeah.
Because I truly like, I believe in being kind to people, and I believe that, you know, that comes back to you. Like what you give, you get. So I don't set out to like not please people, but I'm trying to do it for myself first.
Right.
And then, you know, if not everyone likes it, that's okay.
Yeah.
But it took a while to get there. It took a really long time.
Yeah.
I never wanted to ruffle feathers, you know, but
yep, definitely.
when you learn that it's okay, that you're not actually like, you know, people don't hate you because of that too. I was like, oh my God, people are going to hate me. And like, no,
a lot of more people get more like attracted to you. To be honest, I've realized like they want to know more because you're spending your time more wisely. When you do show up places, they're like, oh, that's cool. Like she must really want to be here.
Yeah.
You know, things like that. Or she is saying something with a point and not just talking to be heard. And
yeah,
you know, for a long time, I felt like I would talk and I wasn't being heard. So I would just talk about things that didn't matter. And so when I started this, actually, I was like, I want to say things that do matter. And I want people to be able to have their platform and talk about things that matter to them, because I think a lot of us are just out here talking and talking and talking because we feel like we're not being heard. And a lot of us aren't being heard. So this is like a place where I want people to be heard, and the right people will come and find us when they need to hear it.
Yeah. And I agree with that. I think even with the absolute like oversaturation of all sorts of media, you know, music and TV and podcasts and all that, I still think that you should make it. Like that's, you know, that's why you're doing this. That's why I'm making music, because I think it will find the people that it's meant to find.
Exactly.
And, you know, maybe we'll never get the chance that like people in the 60s, 70s, 80s had, where, you know, where everyone knows who you are if you're on the radio. Yeah. But like you will find your fans.
Absolutely. And to be honest, I think that's better.
I do too.
I think that's always better, because I love to go to the mall. I love to go to a restaurant. I like to go to the movies. I like to go to the gym. And I don't really want to have people following me around like that. And I do feel truly bad for people who don't have privacy. I think that would feel so claustrophobic and suffocating. Yeah, it would be a lot. And it's like, I would never want everybody to know me, but I do want the work and the art to shine through. And I want people to have what's in my head if they can, you know, if they need it.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, we're totally on the same page there. And it's funny because when I was younger, I thought, ooh, fame. Yeah. You know, I was like, I'm going to be a famous singer. Like, yes, I want everyone to know my name. And now I'm like, that would be a nightmare.
That would be horrendous. Oh my God. Well, we have I'm so glad people like have gotten to know you a little bit more now. And I want you, so here we usually talk about 3 songs that kind of brought you up or make you incredibly nostalgic.
Ooh, okay.
So do you have one that really just immediately shoots to mind, like something maybe that reminds you of your family, or something that, you know, you went through a breakup and that's the song that gets you through, like little things like that?
Landslide by Fleetwood Mac is the reason that I wanted to write music.
Yeah.
I remember hearing that song for the first time. I was like in the back of my parents' station wagon and we were driving to my grandparents' house. And I remember hearing it and I was like, this is the prettiest song I've ever heard. And I was like 8 or something.
Yeah.
And I just loved it so much.
Totally.
And that was a big moment for me. I think that's just one of the most beautiful songs. And
I agree.
It's funny, when I was younger, I really just liked it for the melodies and everything.
Yeah.
But as I got older, I mean, my God.
Then you listen to the lyrics and
Yes.
it hits you a little extra hard.
It keeps hitting me harder every year.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn.
You're like,
song's
oh,
really...
this is really
Yeah.
it, huh?
Yeah. So that one for sure. Foolish Games by Jewel is
Oh,
probably
my
another
goodness.
one.
I haven't thought about that song in so long.
I loved Jewel growing up. She and I
Yeah.
have the same birthday, actually.
No way.
Yeah, so I always felt kind of like connected to her.
I feel like you kind of are. Like you have like similar vibes and like and kind of how
love
you carry
her.
yourselves, and
She's just so cool.
She's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's the coolest. And yeah, Foolish Games was one of those songs too that I was like, wow, this is powerful.
Yeah.
And I used to, just sing, just belt that out.
Yeah.
You know, wherever I was at home.
Ugh, I love that.
A third song. Let's see. I think probably it would be something by James Taylor. Maybe like Caroline on My Mind, or
That's one of Antonio's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that one. So my mom and dad both love James Taylor. We used to go to his concert in the Berkshires. Like we did that a few summers in a
Yeah.
row, and that was like really great family memories. But also just he's definitely one of the reasons why I wanted to write music. I think listening to him growing up and just sort of I don't know. It just I like absorbed what he was doing without
Yeah.
even knowing it.
Absolutely.
I think he's one of like the greatest songwriters of all time. So.
Absolutely. I feel that too with him. I know, like, it's so funny. The more I do this, the more I realize that all of these phenomenal, amazing songwriters, artists, their inspiration is all coming from a lot of the same places. And
That's
it's
cool.
something super beautiful about that all of these different sounds and things are being inspired from the same core artists and the same core people that have no idea how many people they have like hit.
I know. Isn't that cool?
It's incredible.
I hope I can do even a fraction of that for like the younger generation. Like
Honestly,
I really hope so.
I feel like you have already hit way more people than you realize, because like to have that, I think, level of success on TikTok with something that you wrote, like that is so meaningful and deep. Like, I don't think that happens quite often. Like, I think a lot of the TikTok songs are like, you know, more like fun or more like quick to listen to. So like to have that like level of like people watching that are really is so inspiring, because it means that like people want to know those things, want to hear those things that are important. I think, you know, I think a lot more people than you think know what's going on with you. So
Thank you.
I think that's cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Very cool. Okay. Those are really good songs.
Yeah.
I love that.
Do you share yours too? Or
Oh my God. I have so many. Yeah. I have shared a few of mine. I think Carolina on My Mind is actually one of mine too.
Oh, so good.
Because it reminds me of my parents going on vacation to South Carolina when I was younger.
Oh my gosh.
That was like where they met and stuff. So like we went back up quite a bit.
That's so nice.
Yeah, so that was a good time. That one's huge. Kiss Me, Sixpence is my number one. Because I used to just sing the crap out of that with my dad.
Such a good song. It's like a perfect
Oh my
song.
God. Yeah. Pretty much like My Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion. I mean, that one, I like a lot of her other songs more as like, as an artist, but that song, like, because it was like the first time in my life where I wanted to get up and sing something on a stage. And I did, me and my neighbor, her grandma got us like the ocean of like the Heart of the Ocean necklace knockoff.
So
and
cute.
we put on our prettiest dresses and we literally went into, like this like thing called Annie's Workshop or something. It was like an after school program.
Yeah.
And we like performed it like our lives depended on it. And
I
I remember
love
like
that.
fighting her over what the lyrics were. I don't even know what it was, but it was like that was something that like was definitely very nostalgic for me.
Yeah,
so.
totally ingrained. I had the Titanic movie poster on my wall, as
my
well as
God.
a whole book about Leonardo DiCaprio because I was obsessed.
We're all still obsessed.
I know. He was,
We can't be
man.
though because we're too old.
Yeah, we are. We're too
He
old
cut
for
us
Leo
off a
now.
while ago.
He is such a weirdo.
I can't.
I'm like, I wish I didn't know that about you.
I do too. Oh God, there's so much. Like, especially even like, did you feel like living in LA? You were like, God, I just wish I never ran into that person, or wish I didn't know this. And
Yeah.
you know, there's amazing people out there who I'm like so glad that I did run into them.
Yeah.
Like, but there's some that I'm just like, ooh, that I wish not.
Yeah,
I wish I didn't know that.
Celebrities, or some of them are wonderful. It was, you know what? It was always the B-list celebrities who were total jerks.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every time.
The A-list people are usually incredibly nice and like
Very
really
grateful.
humble.
Yep.
And like, yeah, it was like the
That's
B-list.
here too. It's kind of wild.
I haven't really met anyone famous here.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's because you live a little bit out though. Like,
I'm in Madison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely. You will. You
Yeah.
will.
I mean, I'm excited. I don't know who I'll see,
It's
but
a good time. But most of them are really down to earth. Like, I mean, I've walked right up to people and just been like, hey, like, you know,
that's so cool.
yeah. Or like, hey, I like bartended your drinks like a couple years ago and you tipped me really well. Thank you. And they're like, oh, thank you for
Aw,
saying that. And I'm like,
that's
oh,
so
okay, cool.
nice.
See ya. Nice to
Love
meet
that.
you. Like, again.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of wild. But yeah, they're all just humans. Like, and there are good ones and bad ones everywhere, depending on whether
Yep.
you're famous or not.
Oh yeah. That's for
Depending
sure.
on whether you can write a good song or not, you can still be a great person or not
Yep.
so great person. So
Definitely.
yeah, I think that gets confused a lot with people. So yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, so I'm gonna start asking you some of my wrap up questions.
Okay, cool.
Because we're getting up there because I could talk to you literally all day. Okay, so who is somebody that you feel like who's like an artist that needs to be heard more?
Oh yeah, I know. There's a singer named Haley Johnson. She's got the most incredible voice. She's the bass player in a band called Big Wild.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but she also has her own solo career, and I'm literally shocked that she is not just
Yeah.
massive. Like, I've told her before, we wrote together once, and I was like, I truly feel like you are the Linda Ronstadt of our generation.
Oh my goodness.
Her voice like is unbelievable. You got to check her out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm waiting for her to blow up because I just think that she's like next level. So.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We'll definitely be checking her out.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love this because like not only do they get to like meet you and hear your story, but like then we can kind of like push them on some new music.
Yeah.
Because there's like so many people listening to the same artist, which isn't bad, but like there's so many out there
No, that's
that,
a
like,
great question.
people need to know about. And
Yeah.
especially if like your favorite artists are listening to these people, like you want to be listening to those people too.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so-
Yeah. That's a great question.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you. Okay, next question is, when do you feel like your most authentic self? It does not have to be
feel like
music related.
This is really funny. I feel like my most authentic self when CBD is very legal here.
Yeah.
Totally legal.
Yeah.
And the Delta 8 gummies or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like at night after I've had like a really long day, I love to take like a Delta 8 gummy and actually like draw.
That's so cool.
And I'm really bad, honestly. Like, I'm not a good drawer at all, but I just feel really like at peace.
Yeah.
And like something about like the Delta 8, I don't know, it just like makes me laugh like crazy, and I just feel like I can just fully unwind. I've always really kind of felt like maybe this is an oldest sibling thing,
Yeah.
but like I sort of have to be like professional and you know and on time and always putting my best foot forward type thing. But like I do feel like inside, like I actually am more like goofy and don't really want to be serious all the time. And so I feel like sometimes like that's when I feel most authentic.
That's so cool. I need to see some of your artwork.
Yeah, oh my God.
Just send me a text, but I won't share it.
You're literally going to be like, what?
No,
It's ridiculous.
All of a sudden it's amazing and you're just judging yourself.
I promise you it's not. It's terrible, but
That's so funny.
it just makes me feel like loose.
That is such a good response. I love that so much. Oh my God. No, really. Like, that's so
People
cool.
are like, oh my God.
No, I really love it. And it's
Okay.
funny that you say you feel like you have to put your best foot forward and stuff, because like I remember being in LA with you and we all went out as like a group one day, and like you were always so professional at work. And then when we went out, I was like, who is this person?
Oh my
like,
God,
you were so goofy, and I loved every bit of it. And I was just like, this is great. I'm so glad. So that's cool. I'm glad. Like, it's just so important to find like that outlet that lets you unwind as well.
Yeah.
Because so many people think like artists are out here like, this is the way I unwind. No, like we have to find other outlets. Like
Totally.
we cannot always be doing this.
No, like music can't also be your hobby.
Yeah, no, it cannot be. Like, and it might have started that way, but it isn't anymore.
Exactly.
Like,
100%.
yeah, totally. Yeah. I'll like sit and make those like little bracelets that you just like stick around your fingers.
Heck yeah.
With like it's
any sort of crafts.
Anything that I can like be like physically handling usually is pretty good. Like any kind of like drawing or anything like that.
Yeah, there's something about that that's like really like relaxing.
Can, like, turn your brain off, and like I color a lot.
Yeah, yes, coloring. I love coloring, and that's exactly it. Like you can just kind of tune out. That's why I like it. Yeah.
I love doing that. I know my mom like will send me like princess coloring books, and I'm like, Mom,
I love them.
I'm like, thank you for sending this. You know, I'm gonna color it, but send me something adult or something.
Honestly, this is gonna sound super dumb, but the adult coloring books, the spaces are too little.
That's
I don't
true.
like
Why are
it.
they trying to do that to us?
It's so tiny.
We're
I'm
trying to relax.
Yeah,
Don't you understand?
I'm like, this is tedious. I don't want to color these
these tiny little things.
Yeah.
No, I want to get like the really good pens. And
yes, I would like. You know what? I bought some Crayolas the other day, and I was like, these are rose art level. Yeah.
They smell good too. I love Crayola the way they smell.
No, I meant they were bad.
Yeah, like but they smell good.
Crayons do smell good.
Yeah.
Do you say crayons since you're from Pennsylvania?
Crayons.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I say it.
I feel like in Philly people say crayons.
So I'm like Pittsburgh. So
you're Pittsburgh. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like a little bit weirder of an accent. Like I feel like Philly's really aggressive and Pittsburgh is really lazy with their vowels.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like Pittsburgh's more like yins want to go downtown.
Yeah.
Get some pierogies, watch the Steelers play.
Yeah, it's such a strange accent.
Like, it's bizarre,
and it's coming from someone who's from Boston.
Yeah, and it's usually like more of something that your like older generations are going to carry with them.
Right.
But I'll hear my mom say, like, it'll slip sometimes. She'll be like, oh, are you going at tonight? And I'm like, am I going at tonight? Yes, I am going out tonight.
Yeah, my mom's accent's wild. She says like fork and knife for yeah.
Boston.
Yeah,
in
so
the house.
Boston. As she's looking at her reflection, it's in the mirror. Yeah. Like, let me go check the mirror.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's pretty strong.
Do you find that like comes out in your language at all? Or do you think you just like kind of got it all out?
You know what? When we were in elementary school, first grade, I remember doing this, maybe first and second, we had a portion of the day called phonics class. Yeah. And they would literally hold up cards with words like car. Yeah. And heart. And we would have to go car. When I was really young, I would say like ka and ha and all that stuff. But they literally broke us up.
They were literally like, not the way your parents say this.
Yeah, for real. It was so funny. And I know not all towns did that, but for whatever reason, mine did. Yeah, so I don't think most people would know I'm from. Like, although I do say certain things like orange juice. Yeah. Or like forest.
Yeah, there's like little things like
that
sure.
that'll slip and people will be like, where are you from?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's there are a few little things here and there for sure.
Definitely. Yeah. I like it though.
It's good. It's like it's good to keep a little bit of that.
Totally.
You know where you're from in you for sure. Yeah. I do love that.
I miss it from time to time.
Me too. There's like really nothing for me there, but I love other than my family.
Exactly.
Like,
that's the thing. It's like my family's up there, but like there's the music business is terrible.
Yeah,
I mean, for having like some of the best music schools in the country up north, it's like, I'm sorry, where's the music scene?
I know
there just isn't one. So
and you went to Berkeley.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And they literally just send you off into the world like, good luck.
Yeah.
Like no connections, no anything. It was so stupid.
That is so
I had the
wild
best
to
time
me.
ever. Like I will tell you, I felt like I went to
Yeah.
Hogwarts, but like
Yeah.
music school. And I loved every second because I met the most wonderful people. And I think, people are always like, yeah, well, you go for the connections. And I think that that's probably true.
Yeah.
Because honestly, and I hate to say this, but like everything that I learned at Berkeley, I probably could have taught myself online if I was adamant enough about it, So
Yeah.
you go for the teachers, you go for the workshops,
Yep.
you go, for all the stuff that you really wouldn't be able to get somewhere else.
Yep.
Which I'm very grateful for, but I mean, I'm still in severe student loan debt.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I was really hoping they were going to wipe some of that away.
Well, for God's sake, they were like, yeah.
They said, it worked for you.
Yes.
And then they said yes.
And then they took
said
it
yes to
away.
everybody. And then they were like, never mind. Just kidding. April Fools.
I was like, what? That one hurt. I was like,
what is happening with
Really
that?
could have used that 10K.
Ugh.
Yeah, that was
Oh
cool.
my God. Yikes.
Am I surprised? Probably not.
The world today. Oh my God. Okay, so that's amazing. Painting. I love it. CBD.
Yes.
Obviously. Yes. Love that too. And then, okay. So give me a lyric, if you have one, that you thought was in a song that was wrong.
Oh. Oh my gosh. Am I going to be able to think of one on the spot?
It's okay if you can't, but if you do think of one, let me know.
Oh man. I feel like I was literally just saying the other day to someone that I thought it was this and it wasn't. God, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to think of one.
No,
on the spot.
it's okay. It's okay. I just told somebody earlier, I was like, I don't think I've said mine on here before yet, but I really thought that Ricky Martin was saying, she'll shampoo you down, living La Vida Loca.
I love that.
And I was like, well, that's definitely not it. But like my mind when I was younger, like really thought like she was shampooing this man down. And I was like, this is sensual.
Wow, I know. You're like, ooh. My mom used to sing when 50 Cents in the Club was on. She'd be like, you can find me in the tub, give yourself a scrub. And I was like, Mom, those are not the lyrics. But she thought they were.
We just want people to be really clean.
Yeah, I was like, no.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Well, at least we got one from your mom.
Yeah,
That's
we have one
great.
from my mom. Yeah.
What's your mom's name?
Kathy.
Shout out, Kathy.
She'll be so happy.
I love it. Okay, and then like my last question, the most important question, what do you have coming up next? Where can we find all your stuff?
Cool.
Tell us all the things.
Yes. Okay. So, like you said, I just released a single, Dr. Doctor, at the beginning. That was the latest thing I just did. It came out like a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
So go stream that,
It's
everyone.
so
Go check it
good.
out. Go listen. The next thing, I'm taking a little music break from releasing singles until the new year. But I will be releasing a single probably in January. I'm also, I'll hold myself accountable just by saying it here. I'm really trying to go full throttle into pursuing the artist career.
Yes.
Which I've really been holding back because honestly, fear, like I really can't say it's anything else. It's been fear and like thinking, oh, well, I don't have enough money to do this type of stuff. But, like we had mentioned earlier, I think it's more important just to get out there and do it because you love it.
Yep.
And I do love it so much, and I haven't done nearly enough performing. So that's kind of the focus for this year coming up. I just want to perform out more, release more music. I'm definitely going to be releasing an EP. Yes. I'm trying to put together probably like 5 songs. So that will be sometime in 2024 as well.
I am so excited.
Thank you.
And I cannot wait to go see you perform live because I know you're going to crush it. Like
I
always.
appreciate it. Well, I will put it on my website. It's just julielavery.com.
Yeah.
All my shows will go up there. Any new releases, that'll all be there as well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then just like any of your socials, or we're going to link them, but like just so people that are
Julie
listening.
Lavery Music for Instagram and TikTok. And those are pretty much the only ones I use.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. I'm trying to get, I didn't know Facebook was still going, but someone informed me the other day that it's still very much alive. And
I
so
accidentally locked myself out of my account.
crap.
And I don't know what email I used. And to be honest, I just, so if, you know, people are trying to reach me on Facebook, I'm so sorry.
I know. I can't get it to link. I don't know. I'm trying to like figure out how to monetize it, and I can't figure it out because it keeps saying that, I don't know, I've done something wrong. I don't know what. I'm not fully on Facebook.
If you're listening and you know what you might have done wrong,
totally.
Reach out.
But anyway, I'm like, I got enough shit to worry about.
Yeah.
I can't figure out Facebook right now.
Bless.
Yeah. God.
No, it's so true. Sometimes I'm like, I'm so overwhelmed with how many things you have to keep track of. And
all the hats.
You know, you've got your real life hats, and then you've got your like social media hats.
Yep.
And you know, what is one to do?
I don't know. Just stack them.
Stop and listen to Julie's music.
That's right. Yeah. Take a deep breath.
Yeah.
And then, well, I don't know if that'll help actually.
No, it'll help you get some of your rage out, like in the most beautifully written way.
Yeah, someone actually was like, can I turn this into a punk song? And I was like, for Stars and Stripes. I was like, absolutely go for it.
100%. Can't wait to hear that.
Yeah, me either. I was like, that seems really fitting
rage.
actually.
Yeah. Metal, let's go.
Totally.
That song is metal.
Yeah, it is. Gentle metal.
Gentle metal. I think that would be an amazing new genre. Let's go.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Hashtag gentle metal.
I love it.
Oh my God. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I'm so happy that you came through.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
so good
absolutely.
to see you.
You too. Literally anytime. So
awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much for tuning into In Tune with Allison Park. We will see you next time.